Hi. Okay. So, first thing, there was a video that I did, gosh, I don't know how long ago, but so I bought this, the Wizard. I keep calling it the Wiz for some, I don't know. And but yeah, I had talked about this movie and everything. I think I said at one point that I would react to it or something. I don't think I'm going to do that because there are enough of these influencers and everything. They have their channel set up that they will react and everything. React to this movie. Has Nostalgia Critic ever? I haven't seen where he has. So Nostalgia Critic, if you haven't, react to this movie. I bought this on Amazon. I haven't opened it yet, but it's the Wizard. I've seen the movie enough times, and yeah, like I said in my thing, it has the typical. In my video, it has the typical '80s formula where it's got the kind of like, well, I don't want to say exactly like Mac and Me, but it's got the two boys and the girl that follows them around to kind of knocks. Yeah, because it's Fred Savage, and again, Luke Edwards, who is in Newsies, is in it and everything. But it's video games, so there you go. So yeah, I bought that. It's a collector set. It's got a 2 disc collector. It's not that way with the DVD. So I did get the. I'm starting to get Blu-ray now. Yes, yes, I'm finally coming into the 21st century. But yeah, I think when I do reactions, it's just going to be with video games and TV series and everything like that. So I don't want to step on toes. But I have been trying to do this video for a while. If you're not familiar, the Masters of the Universe Revelation has come out, but there's a lot of controversy. I don't want to talk about that so much. Although I am upset with how Kevin Smith is handling it. Yeah, he could have been more professional about it. And that's all I will say. As Weird Al says, or no, it's Weird Al said it in his music video for Gump, but Forrest Gump says, that's all I have to say about that. It's funny that I thought of Weird Al first. But I actually wanted to talk about reboots and sequels, prequels, and I'm not a fan of sequels and prequels, and and I feel like these days now we're just that's all we want. And but I got to thinking about it as I continue. Like I said, I did this video so many times, and just when I thought I had it, I didn't have it. So this might be all over the place. Just bear with me. And but with reboots and sequels and prequels and all of this, there are a lot of times where I see people where the reboot will happen and then they're not satisfied with the cast, so they basically say reboot it again. Now you would think that that was like a teenager thing. I hear that a lot where it's like, wow, that's what 12-year-olds say, that's what 10-year-olds say. No, people my age have actually said that. It's I have heard people my age, they're not happy with a certain actor or actress playing these parts from, yeah, it's like, so you want them to waste more money? No. No. But the interesting thing, when I was sitting down to actually do this, do some research for this video, I was realizing just how much we are surrounded by reboots. I mean, everybody is unhappy with the Disney live action movies, and they keep saying, quit doing that. Please stop it. I already know the story. I mean, I think I've voiced my opinion on those. But and a lot of other influencers, when they react to these videos, their channel is surrounded by going to see these movies or watching these movies and then reacting to them, and they say the same thing. They're banging on nostalgia. That's why Disney is doing it, you know. And but I would say the same thing about Scooby Doo. Everybody loves Scooby Doo, and so let's start with Scooby Doo. You know, when I was a kid, Hanna Barbera was still alive. I don't think, no, they can't be. And but I think the last project that they had a hand in was that live action Flintstones movie. I'm pretty sure that they were a part of that. You can correct me. I will actually look it up and correct myself in the description box. But that live action Flintstones movie was, I love it. I don't like the second one. I think that's stupid. Again, that's like a cash grab. They're like, oh, this was successful, so we're and but with Scooby Doo, you know, I remember as a kid watching Scooby Doo, you know, the original that my parents grew, you know, like those characters, Scooby Doo, Jetsons, Flintstones, Snagglepuss, Top Cat, Josie and the Pussycats, all of those. So all those characters that my parents watched were transferred over to my Saturday cartoons. And but the thing is that with Scooby Doo, we also had Pup Named Scooby Doo, which I guess watch it. They basically made the kids, they transformed it because it was released in the 80s, so of course these kids are supposed, they looked like typical 80s kids, but Freddy, I don't know, I don't even know what they did to Freddy. He acted like a bully, and that's not what Freddy is, you know. Oh my gosh, it was, and the 80s did have an explosion of a lot of these cartoons where a lot of these classic characters were turned into kids. Like there was the Flintstones were turned into children. That one was fun. I loved that one. And you got to see Dino as a baby dinosaur. And everything. So, yeah, I mean, that one was just, I don't know, it was just cute. And, but the kids latched onto that one, but not a pup named Scooby Doo. Because, of course, they would show the kid version, and then you get to see the classic where they're adults and everything, where the characters are adults and everything. So the Flintstones one worked. However, Scooby Doo didn't because Freddy. They did fine with Shaggy and Scoop and everything, but and Daphne and Velma, it was all right. I mean, because you know that Daphne is the daughter of a rich family, so yeah, she did do the snooty. She did have the snooty personality and everything, but it wasn't overpowering and everything. But Freddie was just, and so when kids are seeing that and then seeing the them as adults, yeah. Plus, they didn't have the cool car, so what can you do? I think it, you know, it didn't have the same formula as when they're adults. It doesn't, because, you know, of course, kids don't notice this as much as when you're an adult. You know, kids are scared of a lot more things, whether they want to admit to it or not. So the idea of these kids being ghost hunters and everything, and or detectives and all that. It they would be doing that because of their imagination, not because the adults asked them to hunt down an actual criminal. So yeah, it just doesn't really make sense. But you know, when you're 4 or 5 years old watching it, you don't really fit that piece together. But yeah, it was just it, Freddy. I remember watching it and I couldn't. I always migrated to the adult version. But again, this is an example of the uh, classic. Well, even the Jetsons. You know, I talked about the Jetsons movie last year, and uh, you know, they made the movie in 1990. Mel Blanc actually passed away. I don't think I mentioned that in the movie, but I think it's in the description box. Yeah, Mel Blanc passed away during the filming of that movie. And, you know, he was known as the man of a thousand voices and all of that. So, yeah, he voiced so many of those characters. And so, but again, we saw the Jetsons, you know, my generation saw Jetsons. We had Jetsons Meet the Flintstones, one of my favorite. I think I did a video on that actually. And I love that. I mean, it's a great concept, and it's so much fun. And we finally, it's on DVD. My mom and I found it, and it's either on the Jetsons pack or the Flintstones pack. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on both. You know, we were trying to find it as itself, but if you ever want to find it, you know, the classic Jetsons or the classic Flintstones, it's on there. So it's worth picking up the classic Flintstones. But like I said, we would watch these. Now I know that a lot of people are into Riverdale and the dark. I'm blanking on her name. Sabrina. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Now, when I was in high school, Melissa Joan Hart's Sabrina the Teenage Witch was going. I enjoyed it. I watched it, and then even the cartoon series afterwards. I watched it. I thought it was cute and a lot of fun. But here's the thing. Again, now the comic book series, I think it started in like the 40s. I could be wrong. I'll double check on that. But it seems like it started in the 40s and possibly even the 50s. And then the TV series started in like the late 60s and then into the 70s. And it basically, they actually released a few albums. I have one of the albums. And of course, their famous song, Sugar, Sugar. And, you know, because in the comic books, the kids had a band. And so you had this fictional band and they released songs. Now, my mom told me, and some of you younger people might ask your grandparents, because probably your grandparents are as old as my parents. But anyway, those that were teenagers in the 60s and 70s, my parents told me that you could get 45 records singles on cereal boxes. And one was Sugar Sugar, another one was like the Monkees. I think it was Last Train to Clarksville or something like that. And so yeah, you could get. When I heard that, I was like, oh, you know, kind of like how we would get the internet out of a cereal box, because you could get AOL discs. I think we still have a few of those. it was a big deal back then. And but anyway. So Now, Sabrina was, for some reason, more popular because, of course, with Melissa Joan Hart, Melissa did a wonderful job. She captured the character perfectly. Archie, for some reason, there was a movie in the 80s. If you're a fan of Riverdale or Archie in general, you can watch it. I wasn't, I watched it when I was in middle school, and it was like, oh, okay. And I watched it again in the 2000s, and I just was so underwhelmed by it. It was because I was losing my interest in the Archie franchise, really, what little there was of it. But yeah, Archie really hasn't had much. It's like Riverdale, and I'm not really understanding why everything has to be so dark now. I don't get why people will only latch onto things when they're heavily dark. You know, I don't get it. Because, and I guess part of that has to do with people were so upset with Buffy the Vampire Slayer for being so dark. It's like, oh my gosh. And so then they tried to lighten it up by doing that big musical, which sounds stupid, but it was fun. I watched it, and I never watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I didn't like the show or anything like that, but my friends and I, because I was on MySpace and I was like, well, that musical for Buffy is on, and they're like, yeah, I guess I'll watch it. So we were actually chatting while watching this musical. And they lightened it, and I think they went on for the rest of this. I don't know how much longer they lasted, but or maybe that was their closing. But anyway, it was fun, and so anyway, yeah, I don't understand why everything has to be so dang dark now, and the emo kids saying that, and but the cartoon, I've seen the cartoon. I actually found it on YouTube, and I don't know if it's still on, but the cartoon with Archie and Sabrina, it does cross over, and yeah, one of the episodes that I think it's probably one of my favorites is when people think that Sabrina is dating Jughead. For some reason, there's like this whole miscommunication, and all she was doing was she was carrying his books while as he walked home because he had injured himself for some reason or another, and everything. I like Jughead. Jughead's my favorite. Jughead, and in Sabrina, it's her cousin Ambrose. And in the cartoon, cousin Ambrose, oh my gosh, he's such a character. He's hilarious. If you get if you can find it, watch the, because again, they go to the same school. Now, I have had a hard time trying to find Josie and the Pussycats, and everything. So, but again, these are those three especially, because I used to have the comics for Archie, and I got rid of a whole bunch. I kind of sad that I got rid of them, but it is what it is. And they would cross over a lot of these. Now, again, Sabrina went to the same high school as Archie, so you would see him in the background, see the kids in the background whenever there was a Sabrina, and vice versa. Or a lot of times the comic was Sabrina and the Archie kids. And there were times where also you would see Josie and the Pussycats. Like, for instance, there was like this whole shindig going on, and in the background you would see the band was Josie because it couldn't be the Archies. And so, and there was the movie, it was okay, but I didn't feel like it really captured, after reading a bunch of the comics I didn't feel like it did the characters justice and everything. So, but I'll get into that in a minute. So, but again, these characters have been rebooted several times, starting from even the comics in the 40s, and then you have the cartoon series in the late 60s and the 70s, and then you had like the Archie movie, and then the TV series for Sabrina, which I watched when I was in high school, and then there's another Sabrina cartoon series, and yeah, and then you have Riverdale. So it's a reboot. Certain reboots are fine. I have come to admit this. I and all that, but there are those that yeah. So let's get into that, because what we're seeing right now, like with this whole thing with Kevin Smith, is that basically what Hollywood will do, and not just Kevin Smith. Let's be fair here. It's not just Kevin Smith, because there's also what Disney is doing, where they take these classic movies. Nobody asked for a reboot of Dumbo. Nobody asked for a reboot of Bambi. Nobody asked for a reboot of Cruella. Nobody, and they're just doing this, destroying these classics that we love. And then you have like these people who are defending these, and oh my gosh, it's nostalgia. Oh my gosh, you need to, and it's like, just stop. Quit it. Oh, no, it's not even nostalgia. It really is not nostalgia. If you want to connect to nostalgia, the movie's right there. The one that you've been watching since you were 4 years old. You don't, there's a lot, you don't need a live action. I saw someone say that they wanted a live action of Ratigan. Ratigan is Moriarty. We've got a live action. Oh my gosh. It's just, yeah, surprise. Fixed it. Yeah, we don't, we don't. And but that's the thing is they and so they take these characters and they just butcher them and they destroy them, and they're so happy that they do it. It's like, oh, you like it. But the thing is that now fans are speaking up. Again, watch Newsies. The world will know that this ain't no game. Like, because I was talking to my friend about all this. We had a long discussion. We started talking on Facebook, and then we migrated over into chatting, and just he and I. And we were talking about Disney Afternoon. Now, I remember when Disney Afternoon first aired, and the one thing that he first pointed out was like gummy bears. Now, I love gummy bears, and not the candy. If you're not familiar, there is the original Disney Afternoon was Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Chip and Dale, and Tailspin. That was the original. And I don't care what Nostalgia Critic says, that's what it was. And but then they removed Gummy Bears, and I mean, it didn't last long. Gummy Bears just didn't last. And but then got to thinking about it. Both of us put our heads together, and the other shows, again, reboots. Scrooge, Donald, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Those characters are, well, Donald and Huey, Dewey, and Louie, especially, those go back to when Walt Disney was alive. So, been seeing these characters way back. Scrooge, I don't know when he popped up because if you're unfamiliar, Scrooge, Donald actually has another uncle, and his name is Ludwig von Drake. Yeah, go look him up. He's a lot of fun, and yeah, he would be in the Wonderful World of Color, and he would sing these songs and everything to explain things. Like I have one of his songs that's explaining color, and it's called Green with Envy Blues. And yeah, and yeah, he was lots of fun. He was animated to look a lot like Albert Einstein. And he had the crazy hair and everything, and crazy feathers. And the yeah, I enjoyed him. And I guess that he would come up every once in a while. Like I guess in House of Mouse, he showed. I didn't watch that one as much, and but he showed up, and but yeah, and so Ducktales has recycled characters. So again, reboot. I love Ducktales. I have the volume set, and it should be 4 volume. Should be 4, but it's only 3. Give us the other 25 episodes, Disney. And then Tailspin, it brought Jungle Book. Now, of all the ones to bring Jungle Book. Now, again, I love Tailspin. I love the theme song. But why Tailspin? Why the Jungle Book characters? And then Chip 'n Dale. Now we all loved the Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, and the whole theme fit in with a lot of like Inspector Gadget, and you know a lot of those characters were being detectives and all of that. So, but Gummy Bears they were original characters. You know, it didn't have any character that was that they had recycled. And if you watch even more, I mean, like there was also the Little Mermaid TV series. Never made it to the Disney afternoon. It was a Saturday morning thing. I was obsessed with Little Mermaid, so I know. I watched it religiously. And then there was also like the Aladdin TV series. Nostalgia Critic did a whole segment on this, and yeah, they had a TV series, and again, it was like I almost feel like they did that one. My theory is because you know, Beauty and the Beast was a mass success. It really was, and for good reason. It was an amazing movie, and the thing is that Aladdin shows up. I mean, it had big shoes to fill anyway. It shows up, and it was. I mean, the Cave of Wonders when it came up out of the sand. That's a great opening. I can't lie. I thought that was, and I even remember sitting in the theater. I was like in 5th grade, I think, at that point, and you know, you're at that point where you're like, Disney movies are for babies, you know. But I remember sitting in the theater, and even some of the adults in the theater were like, "Wow," you know. So, but that was another one where it was like they just couldn't leave it alone. They did like 2 sequels for it, the TV series, and so yeah. And Lion King was another one. They did the TV series, and yeah, so it just kept going. And so yeah, sometimes reboot sequels get well, and Nostalgia Critic brought this up, and I had never thought of it. They had Bonkers. Bonkers was so annoying. Oh my gosh. Ugh. And but Bonkers is basically just a cartoon version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I never thought of that. Of course, I had tried to forget Bonkers. Oh my! It was such an annoying cartoon. But again, it's a reboot, like a hidden reboot. Oh my gosh! I remember when that show came out. It was just like, oh. But so now, in certain ways, reboots can be a good thing. Like with He-Man, they did do uh, like a reboot in 2002, and a lot of times what it can do is it continues the story. I would love for them to do that with Jason the Wheeled Warriors. Did he find his dad? And everything. And there have been a lot of Legend of Zelda fans who have said that they need to reboot the TV series. That would be great if it's done right. You know, I'm a huge sucker for the TV series, and it's part nostalgia, and oh, maybe it's all nostalgia. I don't know, but I enjoy the TV series. I've been, it's just, but again, if it's done right, maybe it'll go longer than just 13 episodes. And maybe Link will have more adventures. And, but so yeah, I mean, I can appreciate a reboot if they actually, if it's like continuing the story and everything and all that. But when you're just rebooting it for an obvious cash grab, you're lying to the fans, and it's like you don't even incorporate stuff from the original. What the hell? you know so, some examples. uh, let's start with, well, some of the examples of good uh, would be some movies that were made. I've mentioned the Flintstones movie that was made back in the 90s. I love it. I even have the soundtrack. And I mean, they did so many creative things in that movie. And it's a lot of fun. How can you hate it? And if you say you hate it, you're lying. And I absolutely love the Scooby-Doo movie. And they did a really good job with that. And as a huge, I mean, Scrappy-Doo is so annoying, and they did such a good job of incorporating that. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen the second one, and I'm not sure why I haven't seen it, but I need to. But and then another one that was and there's Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy kind of fell under the radar, and there's a lot of people who say that it's stupid. I think you need to watch it again. They're trying to say that the big cast, it's got like Al Pacino and Warren Beatty and Madonna, and it even has Kathy Bates in it, and Dick Van Dyke and all this. I think you need to actually watch the movie again and actually realize that it stays true to the comic strip. The story is, the plot is just like what you would see in a Dick Tracy story, in a Dick Tracy comic strip. And another one that I mentioned actually yesterday, and it's been getting a following again. It was the funniest thing. I was on Twitter, and there were a whole bunch of people talking about this one again, Speed Racer. Now, I remember as a kid, I would watch Speed Racer on Saturday morning cartoons. And I loved Speed Racer. I would have my helmet, my bike helmet, and it had the M, the Mach 5. I loved it. And I would sit there and I'd be going with Speed Racer and everything. Oh man. And I lived in a cul-de-sac and we would have bicycle races. I mean, we did all sorts of fun stuff during the summer. We would be outside because we didn't have internet, you know. Yeah, we I'll tell you about the dinosaurs sometime. But we would have these bicycle races. We would have all kinds of fun little races. We would do all sorts of fun stuff. And when I had my bicycle, I had my helmet on, and I was the Mach 5. And I let everybody know I was Speed Racer. I was the Mach 5, and they always laughed at me because I always lost. They said Speed Racer always wins. It's like shut up. But when I found out that they were doing a movie, I was really excited. And a couple of my friends and I, we went and saw the movie. Well, the movie flopped, and we were actually surprised because we went like the day before the movie was pulled from the, left the theater. And because the cast is, it's a really good cast. The story is one that you would expect in one of the cartoon episodes. It just, it was it was mysterious, and the visuals stuck to the original cartoon, and everything, and even the theme song that was pumped out stuck to the original theme song. So I mean everything. So it didn't make sense. Why? But I'm so glad that it's getting recognized again because it's a great film, and it sticks to the original content. And unlike one that my friend and I talked about was Inspector Gadget. When I was a kid, I loved Inspector Gadget. One thing in particular was Penny's computer notebook. How come we don't have that? Now you can say we have iPads now and we have this. No, watch the cartoon. Her computer notebook, that thing was so cool. I wanted one. We don't have it. What is the future? We don't have flying cars. We don't have those cool. No. No. The future's shit. Oh my gosh. But they didn't incorporate that in the movie. And the plot is stupid. I will proceed to prove my point. You actually watch this movie, and I always considered Inspector Gadget to be a tall fella. Now, nothing against Matthew Broderick, but why did they choose Matthew Broderick? Why didn't they choose someone like Ben Stiller or something, And Ben Stiller would have worked. And then you think about the fact that half the movie was spent turning him into Inspector Gadget. And then it was like they did a rush job for the actual case that he was supposed to do. And then they just did all these weird, stupid jokes, like the whole Tokyo thing, where the guy, the imposter Inspector Gadget, was supposed to be Godzilla. And yeah, it was just dumb. And one thing that my friend pointed out was that throughout the entire series, we were given the teaser that we were going to see Dr. Claw, but we never did. So how come Disney revealed to us it was just some random businessman? And the other thing that bothered my friend was that the claw hand did not look the same as in the cartoon. Now I'm bothered by it. Of course, I'm also bothered by the fact that in the movie, I mean, there's just so much that they did not incorporate in the movie that was in the cartoon. But the one thing that bothers me the most is that at the end of every episode, Dr. Claw would say, "Next time, Gadget, next time." And that wasn't any. Oh my gosh. Oh, that made me so mad. Yeah. So, but that's the thing is that these corporations will pick up our childhood and just mess with it, and it's like they just don't care because it's a cash grab to them. Just like the My Little Ponies. I mean, I remember right after I graduated, I saw these My Little Pony, and they look like giraffes. They're scary. I'm sorry, but the My Little Ponies now are horrifying. If you like them, fine. But why are their eyes taking over their entire face? I did a video, a couple videos about anime, how I love anime and everything. I'm not as impressed with some of the anime now because of how big the eyes are. And it, I'm sure it's an expression thing, you know, when they react to things and their eyes go huge and everything. But this is what? Look, I was a huge fan of My Little Pony. I have, oops, this. She was my favorite. Blossom was my all-time favorite. A lot of my ponies have been destroyed in some way or another. I used to have the castle. I used to have a bunch of the other accessories. I had the little dragon Spike and everything. So, but I have a couple others of these that they've been releasing. But looking at how they look now, they're horrifying. Like, how are those even horses? Now, they did bring some of them back, like not Crackerjack, Applejack was in the original. And there are a few of the others that are in the new one that are in the, but seriously, can you pass those off as horses? They look like they have a stick lodged up their butt. And they are forced to walk like that. And again, if you like it, fine. And you can defend it in the comments. I have no problem with that. But look at the ones from that we grew up with in the 80s and then try and compare it to the ones that you're watching. Yeah, I just and you know, I did a couple patterns that were the My Little Pony, and I need to do more, by the way. I do know that, and because I do have others, and they were from a game from like 2008, 2009, something like that. It was like a Pinkie Pie's birthday. I think that was the name of the character, and I kind of remember Pinkie Pie, but there were so many names. And the thing is that the ponies look like from when I was a kid, not the new ones. Now I would have maybe the animators found it easier to animate the old ones compared to the new one. I don't know, but yeah, I just found that interesting because I wanted to do some My Little Pony, and anyway, but yeah, I mean, they had a reboot, like I said, when I just came out of high school, and they looked like giraffes. I remember looking at the toy section with a friend of mine, and she was like, "Those are those horses? What are those?" And but yeah, like I said, if you like My Little Pony, fine, and that's perfectly all right. You have every right to not like what I say, but I was obsessed with My Little Pony. I had all the accessories. I didn't have every single pony, of course. There was one. They were so hard to find, and they were the holiday edition, and there were 3 of them, and I wanted them. All the kids wanted them. They were beautiful. They were so pretty, and it was a white horse, and on the rump there were three different pictures, and there was a stocking, there was Santa, and there was a Christmas tree, and the hair was red and green. Oh, it was, and they were so. I remember going into KB Toys all the time with my mom. We would go to the mall, and I would pull her into KB Toys, and they would always say, "Well, we just sold out." And so those who were lucky enough to get them, oh my gosh, at least it was hard to find around here. I don't know if it was like that everywhere else, but yes, My Little Pony. I have a total of two that weren't destroyed now, and I don't know about the castle wherever that went. But anyway, I mean there was, yeah, but yeah, just the the reboots for the My Little Pony were just, they're awful. Now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I've talked about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles quite a bit, so I'm not gonna go too much into it. Is uh, mainly the films are what I have a problem with. I understand needing to. I mean, before I get too far into it, there already were live action made way back in 1990. Jim Henson had a hand in it. I don't know if I ever talked about that. Yeah, Jim Henson had a hand in it. And what's funny about that is, look, I love Jim Henson. We all know this. His death, I cried about it. I'm still not over it. And but yeah, he had a hand in his Creature Shop made the costumes for the first live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But he voiced how much he didn't like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie because it was too violent. When I found that out, I was like, sir, I love you. I absolutely love you. But you made Dark Crystal, and we've seen that. Oh man. So anyway, of course, now that I say that, I don't think that Dark Crystal was meant for kids, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was directed for kids. So maybe that's where it is. So anyway, but still. Oh yeah, I miss that dude. I miss him a lot. But yeah, we had I think there was a total of three, and I can't remember if there were three or four, but yeah, we had the live action movies. It's been a long time since I've watched them, but they were revolutionary for their time. The idea of these, and the, you know, for what they were at the time, those costumes were fantastic. You know, turning actual people into these turtles and these mutant ninja turtles. and yeah, those live action movies, if you've never seen it, if you're a big Ninja Turtle fan and you had no idea about these movies, go check them out, go find them. And they're well worth it. Yeah, the first one, there's even pictures of Jim Henson posing with the, you know, with the guys and everything. And so, but yeah, they're but, and I don't know who's behind. I want to say Michael Bay is behind these new ones. It's like, I understand you need to use CGI for the Ninja Turtle and everything, but dude, you go way overboard. My eyes bleed. That's why I can't watch them. I understand you need to use CGI for certain things, but I mean, oh man, just pull back, man. And you know, when they rebooted Ninja Turtles the first time, I actually really liked I really liked it. And then it slowly started, my interest slowly started to fade. And now the animation on it, they look like turtle babies. Yeah, they're not teenagers. But you know what? I'm not the target audience and everything. The kids seem to like it. It seems to be doing well, and that's all that matters. And so I have no problem with that. And so I've seen a couple episodes of this new one, and actually, it's sticking true to the kind of content that we had as kids. So I can appreciate that. And so, but yeah, it's funny to me that they still call it Teenage Mutant, and they look like little baby turtles. So, but anyway, yeah, it's more the movies that I have a problem with, and it's not because of the original live action movies. It's just you don't need that much CGI. Pull back, buddy, pull back. Same thing with the Transformers. You know, I loved Transformers, and one thing is one of my favorite episodes of the Goldbergs is when they referenced the Transformer movie, which traumatized all of us kids. You know, Optimus Prime's death. It was, and before you think I'm spoiling anything, that was at the beginning. It's like, what? How you what? Oh my gosh! But yeah, that was a fun episode. If you can find it, you need to watch. If you've never seen that particular episode, you need to watch it because it's a lot of fun. And oh, George Segal really got into it, and oh, rest in peace, George. And I'm gonna miss that guy. He was a lot of fun. I liked him in Just Shoot Me. Basically anything he was in. Yeah, and but anyway, but yeah, even the movies. I liked the first Transformer movie, but then they just went nuts with it. It's like these people don't know when to stop with these movies. Learn something from Land Before Time. And why was there even a second movie? Did you see the first one? They made it. It's done. It's over. It's not like Lord of the Rings where they're still going to the place. Oh man. I don't know. But there were, oh my gosh, there were so many of those Land Before Time, and then the sing-alongs and everything else, and it's just like, quit it. Stop. Ugh. But again, it's this whole thing of somebody taking our childhood and just ripping it to shreds, and all of that. Uh, the Hanna Barbera character, Hanna Barbera was still alive. Mel Blanc was until he passed away with the making of the Jetsons movie. Now another one is that I didn't touch on was Chuck Jones. You know, the Looney Tunes characters. You know, those go back to the 30s. So, you know, they would see these. I saw the characters, and you know, it was such a big deal when they were in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and so, and Chuck Jones passed away in 2002, and so when we saw these Looney Tunes characters again in Space Jam, that was such a big deal because we didn't think that we were ever going to see these characters in a movie again. You know, it was like the last movie was, yeah, so it just, But I mean, I see everybody picking apart Space Jam now that this other Space Jam, which I don't even want to get into that, but yeah, yeah. The point is that, and I kind of feel like what also happens is like these legends pass away and it's like a free for all with their iconic characters. Stan Lee passes away, and look what's happening to the Marvel universe. And Chuck Jones is gone, Mel Blanc is gone, Hanna-Barbera is gone, and they can't stop making Scooby-Doo movie. I mean, they can't. Scooby-Doo keeps meeting all of these people. Who are they going to meet next? It's like Scooby-Doo, and it's no longer what it used to be. Scooby-Doo and the gang were actually fighting off ghosts and fighting crime. Now it's just they're meeting The Rock, they're meeting WrestleMania, they're meeting Elvira, they're meeting this person and that person, and it's like, okay, and it's not enjoyable anymore, and I feel like it's more for the teenagers than it is for the kids. And remember the children? I mean, you bring up the children when it's convenient. It's like, and that's not good. But now, it's like my kid doesn't like that. Your kid is sitting over here playing a video game. They don't even know about Scooby Doo. They don't care about Scooby Doo. I've seen that enough times. That used to happen all the time at the dance studio. Some mom would be raging about something, and the kid would be like, "Who? What's that?" Oh my gosh! But and like with another one would be another example of a corporation just taking over a character. Jem and the Holograms. Remember that one? But they did the same thing along the same line, and you can correct me on this, but it seems like what happened was that basically they were contacting the original fans. A lot of us fans who grew up with the cartoon and everything, who had like T-shirts and action figures and merch and all that stuff, and they were contacting us. We were all excited for the movie and everything, and they're like, yeah, send us all these kinds of things and videos and pictures of you with your stuff and all of this, and for what reason? I mean, it was like they kind of incorporated it into the end credits, and maybe on their Instagram of these people with stuff. It just, but that's not what they said that they would do with these videos and pictures. And like I was fine with a modern take on Jem, but at the same time I was like, keep the glam rock, because there's actually an interesting glam rock again, and yeah, it always comes back. but but no, they made her a YouTube star, and oh my gosh, and it was so bad that they had to remove it from the theater. And these these big corporations just don't learn. It's like they're lashing out at us. Okay. Okay. All right. Whatever. It just, well, and like this whole thing with Masters of the Universe, I see quite a few people where they're like, wow, a lot of people are really upset. A lot of adult people are really upset over a cartoon. Are you the same person who goes on the comment section and lashes out at people who are voicing how stupid it is for Disney to release more live action uh, films? I'm pretty sure these are the same people that do that. They go on these comment sections and will attack people, you know, because it's their nostalgia. Don't attack my nostalgia. Nobody is. They just think that Disney's being lazy. And they are. This is the thing about, I said that I grew up in a cul-de-sac. And one of the things that we used to do as kids, there were a lot of the kids that had all their toys in just one big box and so it was all just one big mess, one big tangled mess. And what we would do is we would go out in someone's yard and, you would have like the side yards. We would be out there and we would have like the setup, the My Little Pony castle would be like the battle station. And there was one kid who had his brother's Star Wars toys, and you had like Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia and Han Solo and all of those, and they were in a tank from GI Joe and all of this, and there was a little boy who had a bunch of Care Bears, and they were his Care Bears, and he loved Care Bears. That was, and there was one of the boys who he loved playing with my Little Ponies, and yeah, there was one in particular that he always liked, and I think it was the yellow one with the rhinestones. I think it was like a tic tac toe or something like that. Yeah, I think she had tic tac toe in her room, and but he really liked that one, and but it had Skeletor on, and so I mean, looking back and seeing, we would always have a big mishmash of these characters. The boys would be playing with things like My Little Pony, She-Ra, and all of that. Some of them had like the Jason the Wheeled Warriors, and that's something that a lot of these influencers have talked about, is that yes, now that we're adults, we fully understand that these cartoons were released by toy companies to push out toys. I've said it about Legend of Zelda. I don't know how many times I've said it about the Legend of Zelda cartoon series, but yeah, it was a marketing thing, and it worked. Kids like toys, kids like video games. How best to reach out to these kids so that they can tell their mom, I want this, please buy it for me, I need it, I need it, I need it, I need it. Cartoons. Because kids relate to characters best through cartoons. And it worked. It's a brilliant marketing thing. And it worked. And I mean, but I mean, like even now, I'm upset because the money just wasn't there for the toys for Jason the Wheeled Warrior, so they canceled it. They just pulled the plug. Did Jace find his dad? I don't know, and I'm upset. But I want the right people to pick it up and continue where they left off. And quite honestly, with all this, I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning, but I guess that there's a petition going around for Netflix to pick up and do a reboot for Jason the Wheeled. Why does it always have to be Netflix? Look what's going on right now. Why do you always depend on Netflix? They are not the only ones. Stop. You want to know something? I'm pretty sure that there is someone here on YouTube who could put together a series. I mean, I've seen people who make like fan-made trailers for certain things. And if they can make the trailer, I'm sure that they can make a series that far surpasses anything that Netflix could do. So yeah, don't stop depending so much on Netflix, because look what's happening with Masters of the Universe right now. I'm just saying, because there was that trailer that somebody put out that was for a Indiana Jones animated series. It was a fan made. You know, to be honest, I don't know why there wasn't an Indiana Jones animated series. I mean, in the 80s, everybody had an animated series. I mean, there was a Back to the Future animated series, Ghostbusters animated series, Bill and Ted animated series. There was Star Wars and Ewok and Droid animated series. And so there were a lot of those movies that had animated series. So why didn't, and for George Lucas banking on all of his characters, why didn't he make an animated series for Indiana Jones? I'm confused. I don't know. And yeah, that confuses me. But I would love to see an animated series. And quite frankly, the person that made that trailer, it was very well done. That was a couple years ago, and 2 or 3 years ago that I saw that. But yeah, you don't constantly go to Netflix. I don't know why you're so. Anyway. But yeah, like I was saying, now that I've had my rant, you know, we were, it was a marketing thing, like I said, and show the kids a thing, but do it in a sneaky way. And but we connected to these kids, like me with Jace. You know, did he ever find his dad? But there were other characters as well. You know, I was so obsessed with The Little Mermaid. I absolutely loved Little Mermaid, as did a lot of other kids when The Little Mermaid came out. Well, Disney used that to their advantage. Now, they had a Little Mermaid TV series. It was not part of the Disney Afternoon, but it was part of the Saturday morning lineup. And it actually helped to sell more Little Mermaid merchandise. Oh, I had so much Little Mermaid merchandise. I mean, as a little kid, you know, I talked about how much Pirates of the Caribbean merchandise I bought. Yeah, back then I begged for all this Little Mermaid merchandise, and I had a lot. Anyway, but the thing about Masters of the Universe, now I can't speak for everybody, but the thing about Masters of the Universe and the reason why people connect to it so well, what I saw anyway, because I remember being a little kid and we would sit and we would watch, we would have like our toys all surrounding us and everything after playing for so long and all that. And I even remember it would be summer and we would have like the sliding glass window open wide and we'd just be sitting back and juice boxes. Yeah. Gearing up for when we're older. But, and we'd be watching these cartoons. And, you know, like you think about Legend of Zelda, and because I'm reacting to that, I'll use that one as an example. With Legend of Zelda, you think about, like, for instance, the one where the White Knight shows up and everything. Well, you know that it's not right that she laughed at him, at Link, when he was trying to impress her. Well, you know that's not okay. And so, but there was no lesson there. You know, like the little kids wouldn't, because usually at the end of these episodes, what they do is there's like a quick little joke and everybody laughs. You know, it's like, oh, everything's okay now. But with Masters of the Universe, what made it so different was you had these warriors, they did their fight and to make everything right. And then at the end, these warriors were giving you a life lesson, making you understand that what happened was not okay, and this is what it was, kind of like a warrior version of Mr. Rogers. And they were speaking to you, so you felt connected to these characters even more. And there were a lot of kids who needed that at that time. And I mean, you know, when you're saying grow up, well, you don't know what people my age went through at that time. You don't know if they were abused and the only thing that they had to escape was Masters in the Universe or Legend of Zelda or Jason the Wheeled Warriors, or, you know, whatever, She-Ra, My Little Pony, Rainbow Bright, Care Bears, what have you. You know, any of those. And so, I mean, I remember being in middle school, and there was, you know, by middle school, especially in the early 90s, you were over cartoons. Cartoons were that was for little kids. You know, you were mature now. And there was one kid in particular that he was constantly talking about gargoyles, and we let him, because we understood what he was going through. His personal life was not a good one, and we knew that his escape was Gargoyles, the cartoon series. And so we let him talk about gargoyles with us and everything. And when we graduated, he thanked all of us. We were at our graduation party, and I mean, he was just in tears. And he was thanking us and everything. And he says, I was in a really bad situation when I was in middle school, and I needed to talk about this cartoon, and I thought that you guys would think of me childish and just and we said no. There's no reason. And so, but yeah, and that's the thing, is that we knew, but a lot of times you don't. So when there are people who are talking about and become so closely connected with these characters, there's a reason. You know, they talk about these, when you have, especially people my age, like I don't have kids, I can't have kids, but I know that there are people my age who have children, or they have nieces and nephews, and they become better connected with their kids or nieces and nephews by showing them these cartoons, be it Masters of the Universe, or, you know, the Disney Afternoon cartoons, or what have you. And so when you're sitting there and you're saying you need to grow up, it's like, no. Maybe you don't destroy something that, yeah, I mean, maybe you need to act like the adult here. So, yeah, you know, there, I know that there are a lot of people who are covering this whole thing with Masters of the Universe and Kevin Smith, and they have showed their pictures, you know, pictures of them when they were kids getting the toys and everything like that. And I wanted to, but I can't find them. They're boxed away somewhere. I wasn't going to dig through all that, but I did have this, and but yeah, trust me, I had a whole bunch of My Little Ponies, and I just remember being in the cul-de-sac and playing, yeah, Cobra Commander on Rainbow Bright's horse, and we had such a big list. And you know, that's the thing is, you know, I'm sure that a lot of these other influencers who are talking about this and who are so upset about Masters of the Universe, it's more the fact that they have these memories of playing with these toys, watching the shows, and they wanted the continuation, like I said earlier. And in 2002, I know that the show was continued, Masters of the Universe. And so we were going to get another continuation, and that's not what happened. It just turned into a big mess. And, you know, there's a lot of these people who are my age also who have kept, excuse me, sorry, who have kept their toys and they pass them on to their children. And so, you know, it's a big deal for them. They pass on these toys to their children, and then to, you know, say, well, now your generation gets to have uh, this, and then this happens. Gets to continue the saga. Oh, maybe not. And everything. And the idea of just saying, well, you know, they didn't take it away. You know, you still have the, you know, the extended universe on the shelf. They didn't. Okay, yeah, we get that. You know, like there was, I guess there was somebody at the at this whatever you want to call it, and some guy spoke up and said that your childhood hasn't been taken away. You can still watch the He-Man, the original He-Man show. The DVDs are there, the Blu-rays are there. It's just like when Disney removed the expanded universe, and the books are still there and everything. You guys can just stop pissing around and, you know, trying to start drama where it's not there. No, this is the difference is you guys is it's not there. the they don't want to get it. That's the problem. They don't want. The DVD Blu-ray that we were going to get, which is Masters of the Universe Revelation with He-Man, isn't going to be there. Okay. Because, yeah. Like Health says, you sit on a throne of lies. The fan base understands all that. Don't talk to us like we're stupid. Okay. See, this is what's happening in Hollywood right now. They do they do this again. They take something and then they break it. And then they're mad at everyone else because it's broken. Well, it's not my fault. Yes, it is. You touched it. You broke it. I had a cousin that would do that. There was one time we went into Macy's, and my grandmother said, "You put your hands in your pockets, and you don't touch anything." Well, my cousin thought that she could get away with anything. She still has that mindset, but whatever. And we went through the glassware department, and she picked up something. I watched her do it. She picked it up and she slammed it down. I don't know if she thought it was going to bounce. I don't. And then Grandma turned around. I mean, this was like a $200 vase. And Grandma turns around and she says, "What did you do?" And she turned around, turned to her brother, and she said, "He did it." His hands were in his pocket, and he said, We all pointed, because we all saw her do it. And oh my gosh, my grandma was so mad because she had to pay for it. She had to pay for this $200 item that my that's exactly what they're doing. They grabbed the vase, they broke it, and now they're saying he did it. And it's anyway, it's upsetting. In closing, because I've talked a long time, I didn't think it was going to be this long. But in closing, basically, the difference with others, like with the Hanna-Barbera, is that Hanna-Barbera were behind it. I don't know about the Scooby-Doo movies. I don't remember when Hanna-Barbera passed away, but either way, with the Scooby-Doo movies that we had, the live-action movies, they were well done. Everybody loves them, and all that. And even with the live-action Flintstone movie, I don't like Viva Rock Vegas. If you like it, that's perfectly fine. Everybody can like and dislike things, but yeah, I wasn't impressed with I felt like that was a cash grab, but that was the thing, is that like Mel Blanc was behind a lot of that. Chuck Jones was behind, because he died in 2002. So, and again, with Space Jam, we really didn't think that we were going to see those characters in a movie again. So that was another reason why it took off the way it did, and why and plus the soundtrack, of course. And yeah, I don't feel like talking about this new one, so don't flood my comments with that. And I'm not interested. And I can't really talk about. I can't talk for other influencers, but I know for me, I mean, I don't have kids. I can't have kids, but I do have little cousins, and you know, like with nieces and nephews, one of the ways is to connect with these cartoons and these characters, passing on your toys and everything, and all of that. So again, taking the vase and slamming it down and then saying they did it. I'm sorry, Kevin Smith, you can't do that. Just like my grandmother, we're mad. What did you think was going to happen?